Gentlemen, welcome back to the shop. Been a tough road to hoe of late for us huddled masses here in the outer rim. Mother Earth guy is just kicking the ever-living shit right out of us. I feel like showed up to the strip club with a mitt full of coupons. Now let me tell you, partner, voice of experience as a hobbled veteran. Those coupons, they don't count for shit when you flash up your 1400 lumen headlamp. I might not be a gynecologist, but I'll have a look. Gonna make a heirloom here today. Speaking of hair, it's starting to feel a hair straight back, starting to feel like a fast furious flicks that full of skinned weasel, jamming gears and cleaning smears. Enough down the trip down Memory Lane. My poor, sweet, dead dog. Before we put him in the ground, sent him on his way to the happy hunting grounds, we took an imprint of his paws. Getting a little choked up here. But I figured what I would do is get on the old confuser, that Etch-a-Sketch there. The problem is, because of Mother Earth guy is shitting the kick out of us, there's no roads in or out. They're all washed out. I can't go to Alberta and I can't go to the coast down to the Big Smoke. Also, us ruralites got no internet. You might be wondering why I haven't been uploading. Because I haven't been making anything. But also, as a corollary to that, I got no fucking tinternet. So if I do got tinternet, it's because I beg, borrowed, or steal a couple of ones and zeros in order to get this uplifted. So we got Buddy's hoof print here, and what I want to do is embellish this, emblazon this, permanent-wise, on a nice piece of frozen cock stiff bronze stock. Well, I'm going to manual CNC this on account of Confusion 360 not being able to speak to the mothership. Get more for your money. Yeah, right. Until the NSA can't track you anymore, and then the cloud don't work, and now you can't access your files, and so forth. The Jesus thing won't even chooch. It occurs to me this mightn't be straight brass. There's a way to find out. Bearing material. Well, I want to be softer than the other. And being as it's copper and zinc, the brass is quite a bit softer, shouldn't ring, and the bronze should ring. I would say that's brass, not bronze. My mistake. No matter. We'll buck us off around here. And then, well, you'll see. Here's the old mechanics tracing paper. Dirty fingers are good for something. Being as how that's cold as a bronze bidet, cold as a witch's tatas, that's going to take a while to flash off. So we'll be able to move this around a little bit. We've got our witness dirt marks in order to get us close. What in the Jesus is that? Something up in the rafters. Not to worry, prudence is on the case. Oh, she's not wearing a mask. I fear for my life. Chainsaw file, because you don't need a handle. Eh? If it cuts steel, it'll cut paper. Chainsaw. Gas axe. Sorry. Little Freudian slop there. Axe file. Little toit there. Oh, it'll just be some wabi-sabi effect. Nothing is perfect. Nothing is temperous. Yeah. Huh? By God, that's a blunderbuss of a hammer. See if I can't get my Pinker's hammer here. My jeweler's hammer. That'll do. These old Craftsman ball peens. Man, that was a Cockford Ollie. I don't make them like that anymore. A little rust on that. I'll knock off. I was sitting in the back of the tractor there for the longest time. They walk through water, they walk through mud. They come to this place called the Bucket of Blood. I ripped straight off R.L. Burnside, blues musician from Massaslappy. But hey, good enough for the Rolling Stones, good enough for the Beatles, good enough for the Grateful Dead, good enough for the Beastie Boys, good enough for Eminem. All stealing black people's music to get wealthy. If I play my cards right by the end of this, I'll be 100 air. They walk up to the barkeep, says, "Hey man, you got something to eat?" Give them a dirty glass of water and a tough ass piece of meat. "You don't know who I am." "Frank, my man, I don't give a goddamn." A young man, fully fledged and yet a slave to his ego, becomes a monster. As my daughter says, people are monsters, but you do your best to keep it in check. Because if you're not able to be a monster, you will be a monster's prey. By that time, the bartender was going to rest. You see, I pumped 6 of these motherfucking rockets in his goddamn chest. His mother came out from behind the bar. "I know my son can't be dead." You see, you're not a fully fledged human unless you've been fledged from the nest. That is, you've spread your wings and flew. And the fact that he was in his mother's house with no mention of his father indicates that he was not a fully fledged man. I said, "I know my son can't be dead. Look at the hole in that dirty motherfucker's head." You may be bad, your name may be Stag, but you best not be here when bad Billy Long gets back. By that time, you could hear a pin hit the floor. Bad Billy Long just walked in the door. "Stag, you like a chance to run before I reach for my gun?" I won't ruin the ending for you. R.L. Burnside, right holy terror of a bluesman. And the irony is not lost on me in that track is polluted with the laughter and jeering of a young dude. Now, Stag O'Lee was a real man. And Stag, of course, like a stag, a hart, a deer, all on his own, without community, without friends. He likely didn't have the wherewithal, the social wherewithal, to maintain friendships, being a quite obvious sociopath, narcissist. You know, killing someone over a slight, over a diss, not only demeans the person you kill, but it demeaned Stag. As I say, Stag Lee was a real person, a brother born in Texas in the 1800s. I say brother because we share the same mitochondrial DNA. A mitochondria in every cell of your body is the energy system, what supplies life. We have the same, if you are human, you share your maternal mitochondrial DNA with me and every other human on the planet. So I do say brother quite earnestly, but also he was a black man, and he came to epitomize the machismo, independent stag thinking. But if you scratch the surface and look deeper, it's a cautionary tale. The real story was somebody knocked his hat off, name of Bad Billy Long, but it transmorgified into an oral tradition and they made songs about it, field chants and Gandhi dancers. If you've never seen Gandhi dancers, now YouTube does not hold the width and breadth of human endeavor, but there is some beautiful germs there. And if you look down in the doobly-doo, I will attach a movie of historic Gandhi dancers, a group of men singing chants and just a reefing on crowbars in order to dance railroad rails back in place after they'd been heat checked or moved by flooding. It's an amazing sight to see. So the urban myths, oral histories, transmorgified stag into a seer, someone who was born with a caul, C-A-U-L. That is a sheath over his face, which is indicative of someone who can see past the veil into the other world, into the beyond, as sixth sense. You see, Stagger Lee, despite his caul, despite his ability to see past the everyday, the mundane, and into the ethereal, still succumbed to his baser instincts and allowed the beast to become him. A ne'er-do-well, a reprobate, a vagabond, as opposed to a house bond, a husband who is bound to his home. We have a vagabond who is bound, vagus, which is wander in Latin, and bound like a band. But he is bound to his wandering, leashed, free and yet unfree. To wander in search of pleasure is a very much baser instinct. We can tell it's a baser instinct. One of our largest nerves is the vagus nerve, the wandering nerve. It controls your parasympathetic system, that is your breathing, and also your pooping. And that is why it is so utterly painful to jump into cold water. It's so painful it makes you want to shit your pants. And it's so powerful that if you're not able to control your baser instincts, you're not able to quell your screaming vagus nerve when you go into cold water, within a minute, if you can't get your breathing under control, you will die. You'll lose control of your limbs and you will drown. Much the same as if we cannot control our baser instincts, we will drown, like Stagger Lee did. Wasza zdrowia. Oh, bled. Whilst we're on the subject of cultural appropriation, in the name of Nerd Rage and Red Nile, I give you the song of their people. The solution appears to be working nicht. Time for some ammonium hydroxide? It's just acetic acid, vinegar. But when it's in a beaker, mana. Squirt, squirt. See what that does. Some verdigris there. So if you want something to corrode quickly, what do? You drive it on the highway in the winter. How are we going to drive this thing on the highway in the winter? Went to town, they even tied last in order to block, and this get some ammonia to boil it in. Didn't find any ammonia. What I did find was shocking and ghastly, because the two main arteries are blocked off. There's no groceries coming in. Of course, as any prepper will tell you, any city in North America got about 3 days worth of spare food. People are freaking the fuck out. It's absurd. Not only is it the most miserable time of the year, just about Christmas, also the people's precarity is being tweaked there. You know, I don't have enough. I'm going to starve to death. It felt like the last jumbo shrimp on a Carnival cruise. That can of beans is not going to help you from filling that anxiety void. Just put that out there right now. There's so much food out there. We got the queen growing acres upon untold millions of acres of pine cones. Besides that, most of us could do well to lose 20 pounds, to say nothing of the untold millions upon millions of plump, fresh, long pig still on the hoof. When the time comes, you'll know what to do. This unflappability, this aristocratic stiff upper lip can be explained in a number of ways. It all amounts to the same thing. In the words of Gangstar, full clip, I give no man or thing a power over me. That's the idea that Reuben Carter, the hurricane, when he got out of prison finally, he didn't seek retribution. He didn't seek any payments because in his mind, they couldn't take away what wasn't freely given. That's a powerful idea. That's, in Eastern philosophies, this unflappability of having someone else's ego try and goad you into anger is actually you allowing yourself to be enslaved by a thing or someone else. You ever notice you're dealing with a narcissist and they're on a rant, they're trying to piss you off, they're saying nasty things, and the worst thing you can do to them is to be unflappable and say nothing at all. That silence just allows their turd that they just took to ferment there in the open air for all to see. And it dissuades them from ever attacking you again. The beautiful thing is about bullies, you don't got to be tougher than the bully. You just got to be tougher than the next schlub. And they move on to an easier target.